What's up, guys? Thanks for jumping on here with me today as we wrap up this week and we wrap up the 3-part series to how to get to 100K in income for you as an insurance agent. Well, you're brand new, existing. How do you hit the 100K mark and go above and beyond that? So what we dove into on Monday and Wednesday, and we're going to wrap it up with the simplest 2 tips for you on today's call. But shout out to you guys for such a phenomenal week. So much excitement, so much activity, so much growth and building for each and every one of you. Could not be more excited to see it all take shape as we jump into this month of November. So verse of the day today, one of my favorite ones is Philippians 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Don't forget where your strength comes from. Don't forget where your hope comes from. And don't set limitations on yourself when you serve a God who has no limits. Your strength comes from him, says it right in that verse. That means you can do anything that you set your mind to as long as you rely on him and get your strength from him. And you remember who your source is for everything that you have in this life. So let's wrap up this week's conference calls on part 3 with the road to 100K, the last few steps. Very quick call for you guys today as we jump into Friday and we get out there and get after it. Okay, we talked about input equals your output on Monday's call. On Wednesday's call, we talked about leads, gave you the activity roadmap, the lead roadmap. It was extremely simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Go back and watch that call and follow that activity track if you want to hit 100K. Very logical, very simple. Anybody can do it, and that will lead you to earning over 6 figures in this industry if you put forth that much effort. Okay. And on today's call, we're going to talk about the third thing, sacrifice. All right. If you want to earn an income that you have never earned before, you're going to have to do things you've never done. That's how life works. If you do the same thing, you're going to get the same result. So if you want something to change in your life, you have to change. There's things you have to sacrifice in order to get to that level. Let's talk about what you're going to need to sacrifice. Okay, as an agent, if you want to hit that threshold and you want to keep growing and getting to the next level, all right, the number one thing that you may have to sacrifice is time. All right, but I would encourage you to think of it this way. Are you really sacrificing time if you're choosing to put your time in something that's going to benefit you and your family financially? Something that's going to get you out of a hole, something that's going to pay off debt. Is that really a sacrifice or is that a blessing? I don't know. A lot of people is going to say it's a sacrifice though, right? That's kind of the general consensus. I don't view it like that, but I do think you have to devote more time to your business if you want to hit that level that maybe you've never hit before. Time equals money. You guys have heard that, right? How many people have heard that? Could not be more true in this business. The more time you put in the field, the more time you spend prospecting, the more time you put yourself out there, the more income you're going to generate. I remember being a brand new agent going Monday through Friday, and I would be at like $3,000 of business, of AP, right? Not income, but of what I wrote so far for the week. And not being happy with that because my goal was always a minimum of 5K. And we had 2 little kids at the time. We've got 4 kids now, right? I remember thinking I have to devote time on Saturday to hit my goal for the week. So that's what I did. Can't tell you guys how many times I went out there for a few hours on a Saturday. And that was the difference in me finishing at 5K for the week compared to 3K. That was the difference in me earning 6 figures my first 12 months versus maybe not hitting that goal, was sacrificing some time. Okay, so that's one thing, guys, you're going to have to do. You cannot work 15 hours in the field a week and expect to make 100 grand. That's not how this works, right? You get out what you put in. So, guys, if you've never made that before, you better get ready to work longer days, work on a Saturday, show up when you'd rather be sitting on the couch. You got to put the work in. Okay. So you're going to have to sacrifice time. What are some other sacrifices that you might have to make? Guys, hobbies. This is painful to say, right? Painful to say, but you might enjoy doing something that does not lead you to the goal of hitting your income goal in your business. And you should probably stop doing that thing that is taking away from your business. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Facebooking, TikToking. Maybe it is watching TV, whatever it is. Okay. Dave Ramsey, I love the way he phrased this. If you want to live a life like nobody else gets to live, then you have to do things nobody else does. All right. And I think back to when we were trying to get out of debt. I sold my truck, bought a 1998 4Runner with no air conditioning, little beater. Not many people my age were doing that. Most people my age were going into debt for cars. I got out of debt by doing that. Now, years later, can buy whatever car I want, right? Because I did things in the past that set myself up to be able to do those things in the future. So you have to think of that, guys. Sometimes sacrifice hurts. As you guys know, I'm a big outdoorsman. I love it. If I could spend every single minute of the day in the woods, I would do it. Ask Alicia. But those first few years of being in this business, I was not in the woods on Saturday. I was knocking on doors. I wasn't fishing at night. I was knocking on doors at 7 o'clock at night. You got to give up some things, guys, in order to buy your time back later. Okay. With this business, you can structure this in a way that you will have more freedom, more time, a better lifestyle than any other career you could pick, more income, but it takes a few years of really hard work and sacrifice. And you have to be willing to do that. Okay. We raised our 4 little kids, still little today, right? I can't tell you guys how many times we were eating dinner. It's 5:30 at night. We're at a restaurant. An agent needs a call to close, and one of us has to walk out and take the call. Thousands of times, right? It pains me to say that, but check it out. My kids will not remember that. My kids will remember the life they got to live because of the sacrifice and the effort we put into our business. Your kids are not going to remember if you stayed at home with them every single day, all day long, if there's no food on the table, if you don't get to help pay for their college, pay for their all these things. Guys, your kids will remember hard work, sacrifice. They will remember you hustling your butt off to provide for them, to give them a life that they never pictured they could have. That's what they should remember. They shouldn't remember mommy and daddy being lazy and not hustling, right? You should instill the hard work into your family. They get that by seeing it, right? And so, guys, that comes with sacrifice. All right. I think about sacrifice for our kids. My kids have been at daycare. I drop them off at daycare when they were little, right? Some of them are in school now, but our little 3-year-old Bennett, he's in daycare right now. He'll be there till 4 or 5 o'clock on a Friday. Why? Because we're working. I could go pick him up at 1 o'clock. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sacrifice that time to give that kid a better future when he's an adult, to give him resources and help, to leave him a legacy, right? You got to be willing to sacrifice some things, guys, if you want your business to take off. If you want to generate $100K plus on your own pen, you have to look at if you're finishing the week at $2,000 in business, you're not going to hit it. You better get out there on Saturday. You better sacrifice that weekend to get you some more AP. It's just the way this works, guys. You have to be willing to do that if you want to win. Agents, builders, coaches, you want your team to grow, you better be willing to travel. You got to sacrifice some gas money, right? Sacrifice some more money to buy your agents leads. Sacrifice will get you to that threshold. Last thing, guys, on sacrifice, you have to sacrifice your insecurities to get to the next level. What do I mean by that? Let's say you're just an agent right now. You're writing business. You've never grown a team. Guys, growing a team is a phenomenal way to generate more income in this industry. It's a huge way to scale your company. Recruiting, training, building an agency of your own, which all of you have the opportunity to do. You might think, well, I'm not a good coach. I'm not a good leader, so I'm not going to do that. You're insecure about that. Sacrifice the insecurity and do it anyway, right? I hated public speaking. I never was a fan of having to come on the concept of being on a video call or talking on a stage or whatever it is. Was not me at all. I sacrificed that insecurity to get to the next level because that's what I felt God was calling me to do. So you can be secure in your calling and what God has given you as an opportunity. He's equipped you. You are equipped to hit 100K. You're equipped to hit way more than that, but you have to give up those insecurities and put in the work when you don't feel like it if you want to see that all take shape. So that's all I got for you guys on today's call. I told you it would be a quick call. Let's go get after it on Friday. Think about that. What are you willing to sacrifice today so that you can have everything you dreamed of tomorrow? What is it? Make it happen. Let's go finish the week strong. We'll be back here on Monday.